What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. As we close out on week 1 of the Modern Warfare 3 beta, I want to sit here and talk to you guys about my experience with this beta, as it's been a little disappointing. I know that my initial impressions video was very positive, and I was extremely optimistic going into the beta that I was going to realistically enjoy my time, but the more time I spent on the beta, the less I enjoyed it, and the less I was willing to play it. I just found myself more interested in doing anything other than playing this beta. Whereas at the start of the beta, that's all I could think about. And I think this beta had a few things going against it, obviously. One of the biggest things is the fact that we've already played all these maps. So that learning period where things feel new and fresh just doesn't exist here. And because of that, things get stale a lot quicker. And this is something that is definitely going against Call of Duty from the get-go with Modern Warfare 3, because they've got to fight against this game feeling stale. But it can't just be the map thing, because when I go back and I play Modern Warfare 2 from 2009, I'm not bored of that game. The game doesn't feel stale. It still feels enjoyable to play. So is it the gameplay, or is it the fact that this is the same game we had last year with a few changes that, yes, improve the gameplay, but it's hard to get past the fact that this should have been Modern Warfare 2 in 2022. And unfortunately, because of Infinity Ward's ineptitude or their stubbornness, this is not what we got. Instead, we had a much more inferior game to what we have here. So why aren't the improvements enough to keep me engaged, enough to keep me interested? Well, I think it's because of the fact that the game at its core still isn't that strong. Like, as much as I want to say that changes to MW2 would have been great, I don't know if we would have had an extremely strong game even if those changes occurred. And that's kind of how it feels here with Modern Warfare 3, is we have all these changes. We have a completely different perk system. We have red dots on the minimap. The game doesn't feel all that different. The game doesn't feel all that much better. And I'm trying not to be extremely pessimistic. I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer here. But as it stands, Modern Warfare 3 feels extremely boring. It feels very disappointing. And I'm hoping that my opinion changes as weekend 2 of the beta comes out. We get to play high rise. We get to have a larger group of players playing, and maybe my opinion will change. But I don't know if it will. I don't know if adding one map will make it feel like I'm not playing the same game over and over and over again. Like, I know this isn't necessarily within their control or something they necessarily want to do, but forcing people who don't understand how to play hardpoint to play hardpoint is an excruciating experience, because you're forcing somebody to go out of their comfort zone to play a game mode that actually takes some knowledge and skill to play properly. And unfortunately, it's very hard to play hardpoint when your entire team just wants to play team deathmatch. Same thing goes when it's domination. Like, I would love if I didn't have to play hardpoint every second game. If I could play more TDM and more domination, I'd love that. But unfortunately, I'm forced to play what the game gives me, which is fine, but the player base isn't willing to adjust based on the game mode. So what I'm finding is my games are extremely unfun because my team doesn't go for the objective, but I go for the objective because that's the way I've always played. And it just creates a very unfun experience. Now, is that personalized to me? Potentially. But when it comes to how I'm viewing this game and my experience overall, it's hard not to get caught up in the fact that the game just feels very much like a letdown. Like, this is what we deserved last year, and what we should have gotten this year was something a little bit better, a little bit grander, a little bit bigger, more changes. And there's just not enough here for me to give this like my gold seal of approval and say, wow, they've done a great job. Like, yes, they've improved on things. Yes, the gameplay at times feels amazing. The gunfights feel amazing. But it's still overshadowed by the fact that this is based off of the MW2 engine, which is based off of Vanguard's engine, which is based off of the COD 2019 engine. And all of those engines are far inferior to what Call of Duty used to have. The footsteps, oh my god, are so gosh darn annoying. I cannot wait for Dead Silence to overtake this game, because that's what this game needs. The noise pollution in this game is so overbearing. It was an issue in MW2 and it's an issue again here. Every 2 seconds, your headphones are being blasted by either footsteps that are your teammates or yours or an enemy, but you never know. And then on top of it, you have to deal with your enemies or your friendlies every 2 seconds yelling something non coherent at you. Got your back, friendly fire, why are you shooting at me? Like, whatever it is. And it's like extremely stupid. Like, it just feels extremely stupid. I don't know why they love this teammate callout system, but it doesn't improve the game at all. And again, we have doors. And again, the doors make no sense. I don't know why they're in the game. I don't know why there's this obsession with doors. They're dumb mechanic that don't work in Call of Duty and just hinder the experience. Like, it just makes the game worse. And I don't get what they were going for. I don't. And now it's not as intrusive as it's been on previous games, but it is still sort of intrusive in this game. And it doesn't add a layer of gameplay management or skill gap to be able to open and close doors. That's not what it is. It's just more and more fluff. It's a mechanic to make it seem like they've done something innovative or different, but in reality, it's just a mechanic that doesn't add any depth of gameplay, and it never has. Like, it would work if it was a slower paced game, but because Call of Duty is fast paced, it's in your face, it's always going, always in motion, the doors slow that down, and they don't add a level of tactical gameplay, pardon me, to the overall gameplay experience. So they're just kind of there for no reason, in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of my summary of my experience so far with the Modern Warfare 3 beta. It's underwhelming, it's boring at times, and frankly, it doesn't feel like a big enough departure from MW2 to warrant repurchasing the same multiplayer experience again. It's being built off of a flawed foundation, a foundation that was built and never really optimized. And now, because of that, the cracks have shown and the wear has been there. And unfortunately, because of that, we get something like MW3, which just feels like such a disappointment as it stands. Like, it's not the worst game by any means. Could it be better? 1000%. And I really wish it was better, but I'm just not enjoying it as it stands. It needs to give me more. It needs to show me more. It needs to differentiate itself in some way, shape, and form. And I don't know how we get there. I don't know what the solution to this problem is, but I can tell you by just importing maps from the MW2 2009 game, it's not enough. It's not enough to change everyone's opinions on this franchise. It's not enough to get people rallying on your side. It's not enough to trust you. The fact that there's microtransactions within a beta is pretty gross. And yes, I know it's not directly in the beta. You have to pre-purchase stuff, but the fact that you can't even enjoy Call of Duty without them throwing skins in your face is just abhorrent, realistically. Like, let people enjoy your product instead of showcasing that, hey, you might not love our product, but you will love this skin. Like, it just doesn't jive with me. And on top of that, the player visibility is abysmal. I talked about this in my first impressions video. Why they love this little, like, red diamond above the player's head is beyond me. Just go back to the red name. Make it easier to distinctly see who you're trying to shoot at, who you're trying to compete with and combat with, instead of it being this, like, mystery. I just don't get what they're going for. Make it easier to identify your targets. Right now, it's extremely difficult because guess what? Every character model looks the same. The DLC character models look the same. And the red diamond above people's heads isn't enough in a lot of cases to determine whether or not that is an enemy or a friendly. And it would be so easily solved by having some red glare or a red outline or anything to determine, hey, that's an enemy. There used to be a time back in the Black Ops 2 era where I would get on my soapbox and say, oh man, the target identifier is such a dumb site to have. What, can you not identify targets? Because in Black Ops 2 it was easy to identify who was an enemy and who wasn't. But in modern day Call of Duty it's becoming increasingly difficult because guess what? They care more about the skins. They care more about how the character looks than whether or not it's easy to identify if they're on your team or not. And it's just disappointing. It's just something that needs to be changed and fixed. And that's not necessarily what this video is all about, but like, it needs to be brought up. And I guess if I was to give any type of real criticism towards Sledgehammer, it's that things like being able to easily identify your targets would improve the quality of life of your game. Making meaningful changes to your UI would increase the quality of life of your game. And lastly, please, please, please change the vault system. I do not want to be hanging off ledges anymore. It's stupid. It's dumb. Stop having that. But with all this being said, I want to turn the question over to you. How do you feel about the Modern Warfare 3 beta? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you having a fun time? Do you think that this is going to reignite your passion for this franchise? Or is it, again, something that fell short? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in that comment section. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.